Howdy gamers, and welcome to another edition of Bargain Bin Gaming. My name is Patrick Hickey Jr., Editor-in-Chief of ReviewFix.com. This week we will be talking about easily one of the prettiest games to ever be released on the PS2. Unfortunately, it's also one of the least known games on the PS2. Today we will be talking about Modellista. Okay? This game, when this game was getting ready to be released, I remember seeing trailers of cel-shaded racing and immediately thinking of my younger years, not to quote Bryan Adams, but Speed Racer. I used to love watching Speed Racer, and not because of the amazing plot, which it didn't have, or the great villains, which it didn't have, but the graphics. Like, Speed Racer was so ahead of its time as far as animation goes, and there had been games that were released before with the Speed Racer name, and they just failed to live up to the hype. So when I saw that Capcom was making a racing game that had, all the Asian companies, Toyota, Nissan, Honda, Subaru, Mitsubishi, Mazda, all of them, I was like, whoa, this is something that I could totally get into. Not a big racing fan guy, but just the thought of being able to race these cars with those graphics in the background. And online, the game was online, let's see, when was it released? Yeah, 2002, it was demoed at the E3, and 2003 it was released. It was broadband only, which was great. There wasn't a lot of lag time. I'm not sure if it's online anymore, I doubt it, as the PS2 is pretty much dead. But it was a lot of fun just racing online. It was something that, as a console gamer, you didn't get the chance to do very often. Gameplay-wise, the game was a little bit of a letdown. It's kind of hard to control your car. A lot of drifting and things like that. Things that were made famous in like Ridge Racer and Need for Speed, but weren't exactly refined in Modellista. So, aside from being really pretty, the game lacked the gameplay mechanics to bring it to the next level and to make it truly one of a kind. Racing online, again, very fun, and those mistakes kind of evened out, because it's like, if you can't control your car, and the guy that you're racing against can't really control his car that well on turns, then you have some pretty fun and interesting gameplay mechanics online. So yeah, online was a lot of fun for this game, and it's just something that was totally different as far as console gaming was concerned. Early in the millennium, companies like Sega and Microsoft were just starting to get their feet wet in the console online section of gaming, and Capcom really took a chance with this title, and it's still something special if you ask me, just because I still think that aside from Gran Turismo 4, it's one of the best looking racing games ever on the PS2, and for that it deserves to be picked up. It's pretty rare, but I have seen copies at GameStop before for like $15, and I shelled out $50 for this game when it first came out, and then within 6 months it was like $30. I was pissed, but whatever. I have a copy of the game. I should be happy with that. If you guys can get your hands on it and just check out the graphics that have aged, they've aged marvelously, then it's worth a look. If you're into racing games and you're into like customizing your car and changing colors and just making your car look as beautiful as possible, this is another reason to pick up the game as well. So aside from that, Modellista, not the best game in the world, but something that's pretty cool, pretty interesting, and definitely worth your time.